Welcome, horror fans. Today we're diving into the icy depths of one of cinema's most chilling tales of survival and suspicion. Meet RJ Macready, the rugged, whiskey-soaked helicopter pilot from John Carpenter's The Thing. He's not your typical hero. He's not noble, he's not charming, he's just a man, flawed, isolated, and thrust into a world that could consume him and everyone around him. Before we jump in, don't forget to like, share, and hit the bell. It helps the channel more than you know. Now, let's unravel the paranoia. The film opens in the frozen wasteland of Antarctica, where a group of American researchers are stationed at a remote outpost. Their quiet routine is shattered when a dog, seemingly normal, runs into their camp, chased by a frenetic Norwegian man with a rifle. The man is killed before he can explain, and the dog is taken in. Big mistake. This isn't just a dog, it's a shape-shifting alien that assimilates and intimidates any living being it touches. One moment it's a husky, the next it's one of the crew, and no one knows who is real anymore. The paranoia spreads like frostbite. Every glance, every twitch, every word becomes a suspect. The crew begins to unravel, turning on each other in a desperate attempt to root out the thing. But this alien isn't just a body snatcher, it's a mimic. It knows your habits, your voice, your memories. It becomes you. And in a place where trust is already thin, isolation becomes lethal. Now let's take a look at our hero, RJ Macready. When we first meet him, he's not exactly noble. In his first scene, he plays chess against a computer, and when he loses, he pours whiskey into it, destroying it. This shows he doesn't like to be challenged and reacts in petty ways when he's defeated. He's a loner, distant, often dismissive towards his fellow crew members. He mostly keeps to himself and drinks heavily, but he's also a skilled helicopter pilot with strong survival instincts. He avoids confrontation and prefers to stay in his own space unless absolutely necessary. Social gatherings bore him. It's likely he took the job because it suited his personality the best. He could be secluded, drink without consequence, and avoid the chaos of city life. According to John Carpenter and Kurt Russell, Macready was a pilot during the Vietnam War, something lightly hinted at in the film when he mentions being a light sleeper. This background explains a lot. He likely faced intense uncertainty during the war, deepening his paranoia and sharpening his survival instincts. Like many Vietnam veterans, he returned home to isolation and a lack of recognition, which may have worsened his drinking and made him more withdrawn. Losing at a digital game might even remind him of the unpredictability of war. Antarctica is the perfect escape for someone like him. It gives him purpose, safety, and solitude. Unlike the jungle of Vietnam, it's cold, empty, and quiet. No guerrilla fights, no animals, no chaos. He is perfectly content where he is. Despite his flaws, Macready is observant and level-headed, likely thanks to his wartime experience. When the thing assimilates the dogs, he immediately tells Childs to burn it. Later, when the crew suspects it's an alien, Macready is more accepting than the others. While Childs is skeptical and Blair is analytical, Macready just considers the possibility. He stopped trying to understand everything and just wants to survive. After Blair gets locked up after freaking out and almost killing someone due to him wanting to prevent the alien from contacting the outside, he says he doesn't know who to trust. Macready just shrugs at this. This is because he's already used to being in a state of distrust, so it doesn't faze him, as he thinks it's just normal. While others panic, he prepares. When Fuchs tells him he needs Blair to help him study the thing, he tells Fuchs that Blair is too far gone to help, and suggests getting Blair's notes instead. This tells us that when it comes to survival, he's willing to make compromises. While others study the thing or deny its existence, Macready stays calm and focused. Macready then comes up with the idea to test blood samples to identify the thing. But the samples are stolen, and Gary, the station's nominal leader, is blamed. With paranoia at an all-time high, Windows grabs a gun in fear. Here, we see a softer side to Macready. He calms Windows down, saying he doesn't want to hurt anyone. Though he is a loner, he clearly knows how to handle people in crisis, at least initially. Gary, while friendly, isn't suited for survival. He is too trusting and honest, traits that don't work in a situation filled with fear and doubt. So the crew turns to Macready as their de facto leader. He didn't ask for it, but he's the only one equipped to handle the chaos. In a group filled with hot tempers and wild imaginations and misplaced trusts, they naturally gravitate towards someone who's good at survival. Macready knows how to handle firearms, flamethrowers, and knows how to self-preservate himself. And he accepts it, which shows another side to his character. He may be a loner, but when real lives are on the line, he steps up without hesitation. However, being thrust into this leadership position without guidance amplifies both his best and worst traits. He comes up with solid ideas for surviving the alien, as well as listening to suggestions. At first, things seem to be manageable. He tells everyone to watch who they're with and gives instructions on what to do if someone tries to leave. However, Fuchs unfortunately goes missing, and while attempting to rescue him, they find his body burned under mysterious circumstances. Macready sends Windows to report what happened, while he and Nollis go to check Macready's shack, which has his lights mysteriously turned on. But Nollis' paranoia gets the better of him, and he cuts Macready loose and returns to the base. Soon after, they find Macready armed and ready to blow up the base if someone tries to attack him. This moment reveals even more about Macready. He likely anticipated that his leadership would be challenged, especially given the tense conditions, so he prepared for it, even if that meant threatening to destroy the base. While he's usually nonchalant, when his life is in danger, he becomes fiercely defensive. We then see him in a room, still holding the bomb and flamethrower, shaking and struggling as he's cornered. This scene may echo his experience in Vietnam, possibly triggering PTSD. But when Norris turns out to be the thing, Macready gets the idea to tie everyone down and test their blood to see who's infected. Naturally, this doesn't sit well with some of the crew, and Macready threatens to kill anyone who resists. At first, it seems like a bluff, until Clark makes a sudden move and Macready shoots him. Later, they test Clark's blood and discover he was human. Macready killed an innocent man out of pure fear. At this point, the paranoia and mistrusts are so intense that the crew is just as likely to be killed by each other as by the thing. We then learn why Macready came up with the blood test. He says he got the idea from Norris that every part of the thing is a whole, with a built-in desire to protect itself. When a man bleeds, it's just tissue, but when the thing bleeds, it won't obey, it will try to survive and crawl away. This shows that even though Macready is a loner, he's observant. He may not be a scientist, but he can study behavior patterns and predict how someone might act. We see this when the thing quickly defends itself when threatened, revealing its true nature. Everyone agrees to the blood test, and it turns out Macready was right. Palmer is the thing. After this, most of the crew fully trust Macready. They eventually go to find Blair to test him, only to discover he's escaped. Even worse, the power goes out. The thing plans to freeze itself so a rescue team can come pick it up and carry it to the outside world. Macready, determined to prevent this from happening, decides the only way to stop the thing is to blow up the base with it inside. Though it might kill them all, they know they can't let the thing escape. As they set up the explosions, the thing attacks the remaining crew and finally reveals itself, only to be blown up by Macready. With everything seemingly destroyed, Macready runs into the one person he never fully trusted, Childs. He claims he left because he thought he saw Blair. With almost no hope of survival and no tricks left to play, they just sit there. They may both be wondering who the other really is, but as Macready says, if either of us has any surprises left, I don't think we're in much shape to do anything about it. So they wait, accepting their fate. At this point, they're too paranoid to trust each other. Even though they survived the alien, they may not survive each other or the storm. So that was Macready. a loner with trust issues, thrust into a position he was strangely prepared for. He tried to protect the crew, but the situation was beyond what anyone could handle. His flaws intensified, but so did his instincts, and in the end, he took action to do the right thing. He figured out the alien and stopped it from reaching the mainland, which in some ways saved the world from the nightmare they endured. Thanks for watching.